What is it about failure that can help you? What is it about when you fall and you're sort of trying to get back up again and you're trying to get back onto the right direction again? What is it about that is going to help you in the long term? Let's have a look. I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com, and today I wanted to talk about just another video on when you try something and it doesn't work out, right? What should you do? Or what is it that builds your character? And it's all about how you look at things. It's all about your perspective. It's all about how you view that failure, you know. I mean, failure is not a great word, right? In the sense that it's got a lot of negative connotations, right? It is sort of, well, I'm a failure. It was a failure. And many people take that as just being a final destination, right? Instead of a part of the journey, which it is. Failure is a part of the process, right? It's a part of the process of any single change that you are ever likely to do in your life. You're going to have failures as a part of that, right? Think about when you were back in school and the amount of times that you got something wrong. Even the geniuses among us were probably geniuses only in one or maybe two subjects. In the rest of the stuff, it was like, I read a story about Tiger Woods saying that he was so great at golf because that's what he spent his life doing, you know, from when he was young, a young boy with his father. His whole success was built around the dedication to this one single thing. That's what most of these superstars in sports and whatever field you want to look at, you know, music, writing, many of these people started out at a very young age and dedicated themselves to this one pursuit, right? But in other areas of their lives, they were complete failures. I mean, all you have to do is look at Tiger Woods in his personal life, you know. But he's got so much money that he can sort of hire other people to do most of the stuff in his life. You know, there's a quote floating around that what defines our character is how quickly we rise after a fall. You know, that's got some truth in it, but I think you have to sort of look at the overall mentality from the first. You know, how you view failure. You know, if you view failure as failure and being something bad, then it's going to be that much harder for you to stand up. And, you know, once you have fallen, to get up and to try again, you know, to go over the same situation, to sit there and think about it and mull it over and think, well, where did I fail? Because your mentality, your framework is going to guide your thinking, right? So if your mentality is failure is your fault, then you're going to start to examine failures as where to find the fault, right? In yourself. If your framework is that failure is somebody else's fault, same thing goes. You're going to look at where somebody else is at fault. Whereas if you look at failure as a part of the process, it's a part of the success equation. In order to get from A to B, you've got to go through different stages, right? You've got to try different things out. You've got to try and fail, and eventually you'll succeed. You know, we're not talking about something here that we've got like a roadmap for, you know, like I want to get from Guatemala, where I am now, to Alicante, and I've got a roadmap or I've got a GPS, and I basically just get into the car, turn on the GPS, set in the coordinates, and the thing's going to take me to where I want to be. there is very little chance of failure in that, right? Because I know the outcome. You know, that's the product of years and years of failure, of other people's failures, to get you to that situation where you can jump in your car and you can go from A to B without any failures. How many failures do you think were involved in getting that product from the basic map that we've had for hundreds of years to the full GPS system relying on satellites, and how many thousands and millions of people were involved in getting that from where the map was back then to where the GPS is now, getting you from point A to point B without any failures, right? You know, even if you say, well, you know, like on that road you might come across roadworks and you might come across obstacles, accidents. They're not personal failures, they're obstacles in your way, and your GPS will guide you around them, you know. Even if there's a new built road and your GPS hasn't actually updated, it will eventually bring you around. You know, the technology is there to do that. But in order for that technology to get where it is, there has to have been a lot of failures on that road. Think about the earliest maps. I mean, Jesus, they were, most of that stuff was guesswork. You know, it was people going around and saying, well, yeah, I think sort of this part of this part of this country, you know, looked like that or looked like this, or, you know, there were so many unknown territories. You know, they just basically put down on the map. If they didn't know what was there, they'd just say, here be dragons, you know, because they didn't know what was there, you know, basically. They didn't know if there was friend or foe. They didn't know if there was navigatable waters. You know, they didn't know what the hell was going to happen. So I'm just saying that, you know, this journey of yours, right? You going into this journey of quitting drinking alcohol, it's really a journey of tales of the unexpected, right? You don't know what you're going to come across. With good preparation, you can sort of nail down a lot of things, and you can isolate things that might go wrong and things that might go right, directions that you want to take. By setting out good goals, at the end of it, you can sort of have a good rough idea of where you want to end up, right? But there's no guarantees of anything, you know. This is unexplored territory. This is the place where here be dragons on the map, right? This is your own personal tales of the unexpected. So you are going to experience failure. I've experienced so many different types of failure since I stopped, and I'm not talking about drinking. That was the start of my journey. That was only the beginning, right? Getting drinking out of my life was a prerequisite. I couldn't have traveled onwards on this particular journey if I hadn't have got the alcohol out in the first place, right? So that was, I'm not talking about failure in quitting drinking, right? Because without the quitting drinking, everything else falls apart. So there is no journey. You're back right where you started. So I've had a lot of different types of failure. I've had a lot of things that I've tried out and just haven't succeeded. A lot of things that I've tried out and I thought, well, that's not worked. Let's try something else. That's not worked. Try something else, and kept going and kept going and kept going. You know, everything that I do, there is a certain element of failure involved in it, you know. But sometimes I don't even know that there's a failure involved until later on. You say, well, yeah, I could have done that better, you know, I could have done this better. So you learn from it and you move on, right? But like I say, it's always your frame of mind which is going to dictate the overall direction of your journey, right? If you've got a frame of mind that is completely focused on taking failure as something which is an inevitable part of the process, the dynamic part of this journey, right? Then you'll never have a problem, because whatever problem comes up, you will always look at that and think, well, where's the solution? How can I do this better? How can I move forward? The way to really and totally fail in this is to have a failure and look backwards at something that you've done in the past, going back onto the alcohol, for instance, and going, well, you know, this is my alternative. This is my only alternative. This was where I was happy. This is where I found my personal fulfillment. This is where I found the things in my life that I really, that made me sort of comfortable in my own skin, and going, well, yeah, bugger this, I'm going to go back to that. And I guarantee you that if you have that type of mentality, you won't make it past the first few weeks, because, this is where that beginning few weeks is going to be the biggest, you're going to have the most discomfort, you're going to have the most pull back to your old habits. So have that framework at the beginning, keep that framework in your mind. Remember that it's all about the frame of mind. It's all about how you view everything, not just failure, but how you view success as well. I mean, some people can be just as fearful of success. What happens if I'm successful in this? This is going to change the person who I am. No shit. That's what it's all about. You're trying to change the person who you are for the better. And in order to do that, you've got to go through these failures. You've got to go through iteration after reiteration and reiteration of the same process, changing it up a little bit, and then moving forward to successes, to the person that you want to be. And once you get to that person, it will feel as natural to you then as drinking does to you now. You only feel natural drinking because you're used to it, because you're comfortable doing it. Once you get to that stage in the future where you've reached your goals, then you're guaranteed that you'll be comfortable in that position. You're going to be comfortable there. It'll feel normal to you. You'll be thinking back to yourself, what the hell was I doing all those fucking years? So anyway, look, that's it for today. Come on over to the website and sign up for the newsletter. Leave a comment down below. Until next time, I'm Kevin O'Hara for Alcohol Mastery. Have a good day. Keep the alcohol out of your mouth. Keep failures in their proper perspective. Onwards and upwards.